Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large ship. This one that I'm currently standing on is a very big ship featuring a large array of firepower and it's called the Allegiance Class Battleship, which is this lovely thing that I'm currently standing on. So this is a large block ship, features a pretty big interior, plenty of spaces for you to decorate with any kind of DLC packs or mods that you have, and we have a nice lot of firepower that should be able to combat pretty much anything that throws itself towards you. So pressing F10 and find this in the spawn menu, the Allegiance Class Battleship is 5,892 large blocks, using the Heavy Infantry Warfare 2, Decorative Block number 2, Warfare 1, Wasteland, and Decorative Block number 1 DLC packs. We've got a nice lot of information about it, such as the lore behind it, and all the way down to here we do have the specifications, what it has, and the rating of gravity it can fly in. So giving this thing a thumbs up, moving around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, quick tour of the interior, then if any space pirates spawn, we can go and blast them with the guns and maybe just ram into them. If not, we'll find a nearby asteroid and do it that way. So at the very front, this is what we get for the Allegiance Class Battleship. As you can see, we've got one hell of a lot of turrets on the top and bottom of the ship, so you are very well covered from any enemies that attack you from any angle. We also have some rocket launchers at the front for some manual firepower, so if you do want to do some long range sniping, this is going to be the way to do it. Making up the main body of the ship as well as our main colour schemes are a bunch of grey, white and blue blocks. If you were to move around onto the side, I'll turn my light for the moment, if I can, there we are. This is all we can see, so we've got a lovely wing that comes all the way out the front, very much like a hammerhead, or in my opinion, more like an arrowhead that should be slammed into stuff. Yes, we can see one hell of a lot of great block work, as well as a little white and blue on the very end. If we come around behind our head, this is all we can see, so there's the back of our turrets, we've got some sneaky ion thrusters being housed in some steel blocks. And if we were to turn our attention over to the side here, we can see the start of a couple hydrogen thrusters. Pulling away from there, we can see some great use for our random blocks. Then over to this section, once again we've got a very popular setup for docking ports, and that's a doorway surrounded by 4 merge blocks. That's one of 2 ways to get in and out of this ship, we'll come back to that a bit later. Then as we were to move along, we can see some window blocks appear inside, and this is going to be in like a little junction room type area, which will then lead to all the other parts, such as the command area, the living quarters, and of course over to the airlocks. Continuing along, we'll see even more great blocks. We've got some ion thrusters to help slow us down, as well as some more hydrogen and ion thrusters to move us on our left and right. If you were to come around towards the very back of this thing, past these blaster edge blocks, this is what's going to push us around. So we've got 4 large ion, 1 large hydrogen, 4 small ion, and 2 small hydrogen that should give us a nice amount of speed. Putting my light on for the moment, that's a very clear view of what's going on. Then turning it off once again and moving all the way up and looking down, we can see even more great block work and even more great use of our blaster edge blocks. So what we're going to see along the top here is, once again, one hell of a lot of turrets. There's a connector for a small ship to dock up to, there's a loaded ion thruster with an antenna on top, then moving along towards the front, even more hydrogen thrusters, and we'll eventually get to where I'm standing, which is at the little arrowhead, right there. Dropping down and coming underneath this thing, I will need to bring the sun back around so we can get a better view of this, because it's going to be very dark and the light doesn't really light up too much. Let's go and do this. There we are. So yes, below our front we can see the turrets, and as we go to move along we've got even more hydrogen thrusters. Once again, more turrets. Over to this section we've got ourselves a connector with 2 very odd gyroscopes. I'm not too sure why these are on the outside, they are extremely exposed. If you want to get a bit closer to them, that's just how they sit, there's nothing special about them, they're just sitting there for basically decoration. Pulling away and moving towards the back, more hydrogen, more ion, more turrets. And there is the very back where we can see the bottom of our large hydrogen thruster, as well as a couple interior pillars for some decoration. And there we go. So yes, it's a fantastic looking ship, it's got a great and very unique design, a nice sort of firepower on here, and now it's time for me to grab hold of my character and show you the interior. So flying across to the doors that have the merge blocks, there it is. We now come all the way up to it, and land myself down. Opening this up, I will make it very clear that this does have a few programmable blocks, but when you spawn it in by default, it has no scripts on it. What I've done to make this video a little bit better is thrown on the auto-door and airlock script, so as you can see behind me, the door automatically closes. So there is quite a few doors on here, and it does get quite annoying to have to keep flicking around, close the door behind me. Anyway, walking up to here, we do have some railings with some cover walls in front of them, so if you were to get boarded, we can hide behind here with our gun, and just peek over and shoot anyone trying to get through. That's the same on the opposite side, and that doorway will lead to the opposite side of the ship, where we once again got our docking ports. Well, I don't even need to open the door, we can see the merge blocks from behind, right there. Anyway, looking up, we do have an air vent to make sure this has got a nice lot of oxygen inside. But now we can open up this door. We now come to the main body of the ship. I almost closed the door naturally there. I keep forgetting I've got the script enabled, even though I just explained it. Anyway, we're instantly greeted by an air vent. Our left and right is going to be identical, so it doesn't matter which side we go onto. We'll go for the left in a moment. We've got a little light up here to make sure it's not too dark. Then on the right hand side, we've got a cargo access with some of our catwalks in front of it. Then in the middle here, we do have a little walkway to get to the opposite side. Yes, in this area there is a lot of blank spaces, so like I said at the start, there's plenty of room for you to decorate and stuff with DLC packs and mods. That's entirely up to you. But turning around and looking at this window, this is a very unique setup that I don't think I've ever seen. Very simple and very useful. You simply got two windows stacked onto each other, so if someone tries to attack the window, they'll have to get through two layers before they get into the ship. It makes it a very strong point, but it's probably stronger than steel blocks right next to it. Anyway, turning around, we've got some sets that lead down, but we do not need to go in there just yet. That doorway is going to lead to our control room, which will come back a bit later. We need to come through this doorway, which will take us to our engineering bay. Got a top floor and then a bottom floor, which we can access through there. Now link back around to our steps, then we'll come back to the control room. But yes, looking up, we've got a lovely orangey yellow light. At the back of this room, we've got some lockers and shelves, got another air vent, blast door block to separate the rooms. Then walking through here are some more gyroscopes and some cargo containers. Turning around, we've got some more shelves that line the room. We've got some lovely railings to make sure you don't accidentally fall down this ladder shaft. Then turning to the other side, it's going to be an identical setup. We've got cargo containers, blast door divider, then our shelves and lockers. Turning around, there's our door to the opposite side. So all we got to do is come down this ladder and work our way towards the front. So down we come. There's our doorway that leads to our steps that go all the way up. Turning around, past this lovely curved area, got a seat to sit in. There's some gyroscopes, there's an LCD screen telling us our speed, and on the opposite side, it's going to be identical. Coming around through this doorway, opening this up, got another large area for you to decorate. There's the gravity generator to make sure we don't float away when we jump, and some steps that lead up, and our control room will be just up there. Walking around to here, we've got a lovely kitchen room, our little living quarter type area. We've got a table to discuss your plans, eat your food. Behind here is our kitchen block, a couple more lockers, and that's about it. So now we've got to come up these steps, all the way around, and now we're back into this little area with our double windows. So opening up this doorway, this is the only place to go, which is our control room, and here are our two programmable blocks. So like I said, when I entered this building, they are both blank, and I simply added the auto door and airlock script, so I don't have to keep closing the doors behind me. But yes, we do have a time block on there with nothing set up, so you can use that if you want to, and we also got a lovely blue glow that mixes with the green, make it a nice little colour. Looking towards front, there's an LCD screen telling us our target locked. We've got two control seats with nothing set up, but you could, if you want to, set up the turrets on there so you have manual control. That's only if your co-pilot wants it. And then last but not least, here is our control seat to fly this thing around. Then bring up the HUD, we do have quite a few things to go through. And I suppose we'll come into third person view. So number one's going to be for our rocket launchers at the front to fire them all together. There we go. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could use the second programmable block, put on the salvo script, so you can fire them on a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Not actually sure what just happened there. Looks like the rockets just exploded onto themselves. Hopefully I didn't damage that. Get a bit closer look. No, they did not. Anyway, number 2 is for our jump tribe where we can jump 5 kilometers. In fact, we'll go do that right now because there's nothing of interest around me. 3 is for all of our turrets to turn them on and off. Number 4 is to cycle their targeting, so currently it's on default. We can switch it to weapons or propulsion if we need to. 5 and 6 for our thruster override to move us forwards. Number 7 for our antenna on and off. Number 8 and 9 is both for our gravity generators, where number 9 is going to be for our regular gravity generator to keep us from floating around, whereas number 8 is something very different. This is our gravity shield, where it's going to repel anything coming towards us. So activating this and looking at the bottom right on our little gravity screen, you can see it becomes very wonky. Hopping out the seat, we can see that we are a little bit wonky of what's going on, and hopefully that'll stop any kind of boarding ships trying to come up to you, and hopefully make sure you're a little bit protected. Anyway, turning that off for the moment. Oop, that's the wrong one. On to tab number 2, we then got our connectors on off until lock and unlock. Then we've got our merge blocks, we got our oxygen tanks, hydrogen tanks, both our jump drives, our projector and ore detector. And then on to tab number 3, we then got our reactors on and off, our batteries to auto recharge. Number 6 is for our projectors to turn them on and off. Number 7 is for all of our production blocks to turn them on and off. Then once again, 8 and 9 is for our gravity generators. On to tab number 4, we've got nothing else. So it's time to fly this thing around. So moving forwards, this is what we get. For a large battleship, we do have one hell of a lot of speed. That's to be expected from the sheer amount of thrusters on this. And does look fantastic by hide HUD there, and all the lights coming off it, especially on this skybox. And if you are interested in the Skybox, there will be a link to it in the description below. It's a very nice one, quite dark and very moody. Anyway, coming to a stop, this is what we get. We are very, very slow at coming to a stop, so do be very careful when charging along towards your base, towards a station or another ship. Otherwise, you're going to do what I intend to do with this and spam straight into it. So we're just going to use this command menu to go and stop it, if I can find it. There it is. And now it's stopped. Moving left. And moving right, we are exceptionally slow with that. Look at that go. We're not going to go anywhere very soon on the left and right. Moving up. Feels a bit faster than moving forwards. The moving down, better than left and right, but nowhere near as moving forwards or up. And as for gyroscope controls, this is what we get. I am moving the mouse, it is exceptionally slow, it's very heavy, very meaty, and certainly suits a large battleship. You're not going to be doing any kind of fancy maneuvering, you're not going to be doing any kind of quick 180s to hit enemies behind you. And I suppose with all the turrets on there, it doesn't really matter. So now what we can do is find a nearby asteroid, because I don't think there's any pirates nearby, and I can't unfortunately do the AI stuff because that got removed because beta has ended. So I'd actually really love to have this ship fight another version of this ship with the repelling turned on to see what it does. Perhaps I'll do that when the update launches next month. In fact, I might even start a ship fight club to see how the AI handles them and what kind of destruction I can cause. So instead of slamming this into an asteroid, what happened was, as I was charging along to it, as I was about to hit into it, I saw a Mayday signal right above it. And that is where we're going to go right now. That should be them right there. We now open fire into them, bring up the HUD. That's that poor Mayday signal, and I don't think they're going to be calling for help anytime soon. But look at all the guns firing. They are not going to stand a chance against this, and they will be very quickly disabled. You want to come over to tab number 1, change their targeting. We want to go for their weapons first of all. And I don't think that's even necessary. I think that is that for the poor little space pirates. So we're just going to finish this off by charging towards this asteroid and see what kind of damage we can deal. I doubt we can get up to 100 meters per second, but here we go anyway. Oh, there's another Mayday signal. I won't go to them, they can live for now. I'll come back to them in another video. But here we go, straight into this. And it should deal one hell of a lot of damage. There we go, we lost part of our fin at the front, but it still feels like we are sort of flyable. And there we go. At a high speed crash, we did get up to 100 meters per second. All we lost was part of the front, which is, well, nothing too bad. But that is that for the Allegiance Class Battleship. It's a lovely ship with nice sort of firepower on it, nice sort of utility, and everything you need to do well in survival mode. There'll be a link to its description below as well as the Skybox. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.